All right, thank you guys. Happy Monday to you. And if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button. And if you haven't already done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button below as well. And with that said, guys, we got ourselves some really good Monday NBA action. A little bit of a shorter slate here, but still a couple of games of interest here. We got it all fired up, ready to go behind me. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to take a look at the Pistons versus the Hawks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time in Atlanta. The Hawks are the 10-point favorite at home. Totals 223 flat. We're 4-1 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And access to today's extra daily pick costs just $2.99. And if you want to join the community of over 775 handicappers who are signed up and active on that page, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And when it comes to this Pistons-Hawks game, Detroit's plus 335 for some money line cash. Now, the Pistons are 0-2 straight up on the season, 0-2 against the number in those losses. They're giving up 120 points a game and shooting just 30% from beyond the arc. Now, they're taking on an Atlanta squad who's coming fresh off a double-digit victory over Memphis, where they put up 122 points. And as a matter of fact, the Hawks are 2-0 straight up on the season and 2-0 against the number in those contests. Trae Young is scoring 37 points a game along with 5 rebounds and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Kevin Huerter is scoring 16 points a night himself, couple of boards and 4 assists a game coming off the bench. The Hawks are giving up just 108 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to just 26% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, total-wise, Atlanta saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with the Pistons get over the line. Meanwhile, Detroit is coming fresh off a game that got over the posted number in their last outing themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Hawks minus 10 and the over 223 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for NBA action here on a Monday. Happy Monday to you guys. Hopefully you had yourselves a great weekend, and let's go ahead and get this week off. Let's get this week off. Some of you have the whole week off, but let's get this week started off right. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 4-1 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We're also 4-1 in our last 5 college football tier package picks on that site as well. And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships on that site absolutely free. And no, you did not mishear me. When you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you instantly will get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. It's not the entire slate of NBA games side in total. That's certainly not a good way to make money. And I'll tell you this much. I'm having a lot more success betting on games in smaller sample sizes like I do on Patreon versus wagering on every single game on the board side in total like I do with my free leans here on YouTube. There is a tutorial video right on the Patreon homepage that shows you how to easily navigate the site. You don't need a membership for that. You can actually watch that right now on the homepage. It's absolutely free to do that. And we currently do have a community of over 775 handicappers who are signed up and active on that site. So if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I'd love to have you. Link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, guys, we're going to take a look at the Grizzlies versus the Nets. and that's going to be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time in Brooklyn. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are -6 with the total at 232.5. Brooklyn scoring 117 points a game, 42% shooting from beyond the arc. Kyrie Irving scoring over 29 points a night along with 4 boards and 6 assists. And Kevin Durant's also scoring 27 a game along with 4 boards and a couple of steals himself. Now, the Nets are allowing just 100 points per contest on defense, and they're holding their opponents to just 39% shooting from the field. They're taking on a winless Memphis squad who failed to cover the point spread in their 2 losses on the season. The Grizzlies are giving up 127 points a game defensively, and, they have a handful of guys who are out for tonight. So, just keep that in mind if you're leaning toward Memphis. Couple important guys not playing. Now, total-wise, Memphis' most recent outing stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, the Nets are 3-0 to the under for the entire season themselves. Give me the Brooklyn Nets -6 and the under 232.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Jazz versus the Thunder, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off in OKC. The Jazz are -8.5 on the road, totals 218 flat. The Jazz are scoring 116 points per contest, and they're holding their opponents to just 42% shooting from the field. Donovan Mitchell is scoring 21 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists for the guard. Mitch is also getting 2 steals and a block a game as well. And of course, Mike Conley is also averaging 19 points a night himself, along with 5 boards and 3 assists. Now, Utah's garnered a solid 20-point victory over Portland in their season opener. They're taking on an OKC squad who barely squeaked past Charlotte in their last contest themselves. I get it, a win's a win, but certainly a shaky effort. Now, the Thunder scored just 109 points in that win, and they shot a measly 27% from three-land. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, OKC's officially 1-0 to the under on the season after that game. Meanwhile, Utah's 2-0 to the under in their 2 contests on the season themselves. Give me the Utah Jazz -8.5 and the under 218. Next ball game, it is going to be Rockets versus the Nuggets. 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Denver. The Nuggets are -7 with the total at 222 flat. The Houston Rockets are +225 for an upset win. Now, Houston's 1-0 against the number on the season. They suffered a 2-point loss to Portland in the opener, but they comfortably covered the 8 points. The Rockets scored 126 points in that contest, and they shot nearly 52% from the field. Now, James Harden scored 44 points in that contest, 4 rebounds, and a staggering 17 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Christian Wood also scored 31 points in that contest himself, 13 boards and 3 assists for the 6'10 forward. Now, they're taking on a winless Denver team who's 0-2 against the spread in their 2 losses. The Nuggets are shooting just 29% from downtown, and they also find themselves giving up 123 points per game. Now, the Nuggets' opponents are also shooting nearly 43% from beyond the arc, and when it comes to the scoring in this one, Denver's 2-0 to the over thus far on the season. Houston 1-0 to the over themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Houston Rockets +7 and the over 222 in that game. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final contest for the show. It is going to be Blazers versus the Lakers. 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Staples Center. The Lakers are the 4-point favorite. Totals 225 flat. The Portland Trail Blazers are +145 for an outright victory. Now, Portland put up 128 points against Houston in their most recent outing. The Blazers are also shooting 40% from beyond the arc. C.J. McCollum is scoring 34 points a night through 2 ball games, 4 boards and 6 assists for the guard. And of course, can't forget about Damian Lillard, who's also scoring 21 points a game, 5 rebounds and 8 assists for Dame. Now they're taking on a Lakers squad who actually has Anthony Davis and LeBron James both listed as game-time decisions. Both guys a little bit banged up, both dealing with lower body injuries. And of course, Alex Caruso is also questionable with a hand injury as well. Now, the Lakers also lost their season opener to the Clippers, scoring just 109 points in that ball game. And when it comes to the total in this one, 2 out of LA's last 3 ball games did get over the posted number. Meanwhile, Portland on the other side, their most recent outing got almost 30 points above the posted number themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Portland Trailblazers +4 and the over 225. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 4-1 in our last 5 extra daily picks on that site. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. I like the Atlanta Hawks -10 over 223. I also like the Brooklyn Nets -6 under 232.5. I find myself leaning toward the Utah Jazz -8.5 under 218. I also like the Houston Rockets +7 over 222. And last but certainly not least, please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. Give me the Portland Trailblazers +4 and the over 225. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs. And from our YouTube platform, shout-out to Calico Jones, Trevino Sloan, Christopher Cervantes. Shout-out to The Destroyer. Also want to give a shout-out to James Langhorn, Kevin Taylor, Timothy Fuquay, D. Joseph, Nicholas Calderon. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout-out to my good friend, Camden Church. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. And just another reminder, if you guys sign up for a package here today, just keep in mind that all the lesser expensive memberships are included with your purchase free. So if you order a $4.99 package, all the cheaper memberships are absolutely free with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.